Hey guys, so we've known for a while that Hollywood, video game companies, comic books, they're just the people who are in charge of writing this stuff, the artists, they're just so out of ideas. They're so uncreative now. So this is Spider Smasher Returns, and Dan Slott, who blocked me today, reveals the origin of his top secret new spider hero in Edge of Spider-Verse #3, coming this June. Now, remember the last one we looked for into the Spider-Verse, the one in the freaking wheelchair with the web slingers out of their their walkers. They're they're flying around, in their wheelchair or just flying, zipping around. Their legs are, not functioning, so they're just like dangling there as they swing. Yeah, but how many times have we seen this character? This character specifically. This pretty much is like, think of how many times just this year in comic books or video games or TV shows, how many times we've seen this kind of character. The basically, I'm guessing they're going to be a lesbian or a member of the LGBTQ plus community. How many we've seen of this character with the shaved head? They're gonna have some snarky "look at me, I'm better than you" attitude. How many times have we seen this character in video games, in other comic books, in TV shows? I mean, you look at Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. They've all got characters that look like this right now. Comic books. It seems like you know um, DC and Marvel have characters that look like this. You have those crappy cal art looking cartoons. You got a character that looks like this. Basically, it's like they've taken a cookie cutter, and for a few years, back in the '90s, it had charm. But you keep using that cookie cutter, it's going to be worn down after a while. They're trying to wash it, but they're not doing it right, and it's starting to rust up, and it's just not working the same way it used to. And they're just still trying to get things out of there and make them, and it's just not working. The appeal that it had ages ago, that cookie cutter format of this type of character, we're tired of seeing it. And it's basically a stereotype now. Oh, whenever we have to have a strong, powerful black woman, well, guess what? They're gonna have the half-shaved head. They're gonna have to have that snarky looking, that entitled, like, the world owes them something kind of grin. Um, I said he can't keep getting away with this, and that's all I said. And he blocked me. I was able to see all his tweets earlier. Nope, nope. Um, and people are just tired of it. Why does every strong female sexually ambiguous character have to have the same haircut as Zord from the Fifth Element? Oh, look, it's that haircut. Again. Not a fan of that haircut. Sloth finally watched Edge Runners on Netflix. It's always this hairstyle. This haircut alone tells me it's going to be straight ass. Here's a better idea. Got J. Jonah Jameson, the Bugle Daily. Are you guys just allergic to making money now? Or watering down Spider-Man? Yawn. You can tell a lot about someone just from their haircut alone. Oh great, the half head shaved haircut. Weirdo haircut. Dan Slott sucks. Oh, for God's sakes. That little hard pass. Hate that damn haircut. Western industry trying to make characters without the icky buzz cut hairstyle challenge. Incomprehensibly impossible. How many issues is this going to last? Seems like these characters barely hit 12 issues. What a disgrace. Trash. He has to be stopped at all costs. Can we get some original new character, Peter and MJ's marriage restored in the main line? Well, let me guess. No tomorrow. Young black women have more than this one hairstyle. Dan Slott breaks his usual gimmick and introduces a new spider derivative, who will totes be better than Parker ever could, and will be used for exactly 15 or less issues before she's thrown into the diversity pile until a new Pride issue comes out. Dan Slott, that one haircut. Cool, can't wait to never read this one. I already finished not reading it. Took no time at all. This looks like crap. What you want? I want everybody to know that I'm offended by everything. Say no more. Can we stop pretending this is anything other than wholly unoriginal at this point? Jesus, get a new cookie cutter. That's what I said. Ah, yes, desperation. This is such a great scene, and they're beating the crap out of him. He's just sipping the wine, and then he goes over it. They start so great. I love that. No, thank you. It looks silly AF. I hope Dan at least credits the original design of his new character. That haircut. Pass. How original. Exactly. So more Spider-Man comics without Spider-Man. Hard pass. The smugness makes it extra insufferable. Yeah, the haircut will forever be gross and ugly. Another black lesbian superhero. How original. Looks like Dan Slott just watched Attack on Titan and decided to borrow that costume look. And what's with the half-shaved head? Is this how these old Disney creators see black girls? Of course, they would be black because apparently their other ethnic races don't exist. Does she want to speak to Spider-Man's manager? So she's gonna go complain to J. Jonah Jameson? With the mental illness haircut too. Manga, stop laughing. Why is this haircut always a bad omen? So you can see people are clearly tired of characters that look like this. Whenever you see a character that looks like this, they are never well thought out. They are the most bland characters. They always have that smugness about them. They always are written to basically be the savior for everyone. They always have to come in and correct the stupid doofus of a man. Like, oh, God, this world will fall apart if we weren't here. They always have to mention their pronouns. They have to say that they're a proud black woman every few seconds. You know, it's just, it's not an interesting character anymore. I mean, it never really was. But the fact that they just keep doing it over and over, they are the most bland characters because I guarantee you her actual personality, she doesn't even have one. She doesn't even have a personality. This is her personality. Her skin color, the pronouns, and other meaningless crap, and the fact that she's a lesbian or whatever. That's her personality. They're going to make her bland as hell, and then when people complain about it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be called every phobe-ist and ism. Because, what's the matter? You don't like black characters? No, we hate poorly written black characters. Because the character's personality should come first. You know, you want a character to be strong or maybe weak at first or whatever. And then everything else should be built on that. Skin color and all that should be not really important at that moment. You want the personality. But these people, I mean, look at all the other comic books that have come out with characters that look like this. They never last. Why? Because they're poorly written. They're poorly written characters, and they're just here solely to just check boxes. And oh my god, this strong black female is a Spider-Man or Spider they, oh Spider person. I feel represented. So their character can be as bland as possible. This could be a literal just cardboard cutout swinging around town, and it doesn't matter because representation. Like, say it's this, but she is just like a cardboard cutout, and they're swinging around town. It's like, oh, representation. That's how bland these characters are. They have one purpose to fill, one reason for existing, and it's just to quotas. Like, well, my representation quota failed for this month. It's ridiculous because it's like these comic book creators don't care about comics now. It's just about representation, which, quite frankly, isn't selling. People are not interested in these lame freaking characters or taking pre-existing characters and, oh yeah, this character is gay now. Or, oh yeah, here's a Peter Parker, but he's black. You know, if you're going to have Spider-Man black, great. Miles Morales, great Spider-Man. And Miles has been around for a while. But then we have creations like this character. They're not going to be anything like Miles. They're not going to be anything like Peter. They're just bland. Again, this could be a universe where it's literally a freaking cardboard cutout swinging around. And it would be just as effective because that's how bland these characters are. And yet, these creators, Hollywood, video game companies, they don't learn. Again, when this fails, which we know it's going to, they're going to turn to the typical phobes, ists, and isms. They're going to put up that shield, and any criticism that comes their way, they're going to deflect it back with, oh, you're just a phobe, you're just an ist, you're an ism. Which proves my point once again that they have no real reason for what they're doing. They know what they're doing is wrong and that it's pointless and that they're just doing it to check boxes. And when they're getting called out on it, they have no real rebuttal, no retort, anything. Because what can they possibly say? Well, you're just a racist. Okay, please tell me. It's like, how is Creed doing great right now? How is, Miles Morales being, such a loved character? But apparently we hate black characters, but apparently those characters, the Black Panther movies, those seem to do well. So apparently the same people who are enjoying those movies are also the same people saying, hey, why are you doing this? So what, they're racist one time sometimes, but not the other. Racism of convenience for you. So as long as they're blowing you and singing your praises, like, oh my God, Wakanda Forever was the best movie I've ever seen, then it's perfectly fine. But then you come out and say, okay, this character looks unoriginal, they're bland, they have no real personality, and then, oh, you're just a racist. I was just blowing you before about how amazing Wakanda Forever was. Well, you're a racist now because you're criticizing this character. You're just saying it because they're a black character. Wakanda Forever was filled with black characters. So, you see kind of the mental illness going on with them. They'll be happy when you're blowing them, complimenting them with other things that have black characters in them. But then when you say, oh, well, why is there a black Ariel? What's the matter? Are you racist or something? So, it's like these companies are just tired of making money or something. Remember when Marvel put out actual quality products? Great comic books that, people are like, oh my God, look at this. And they would be scanning the panels and the pages, and you'd get to see just like how detailed some of they were, and some of the gruesome scenes that were there. But now This is what we're reduced to: cookie cutter heroes, because they have nothing better to do than to just make these bland, personality-less, just characters that no one gives a crap about. Like, again, when you make a character, you want the person who's reading or viewing to feel something for the character. You want their triumphs to be felt. So when they're triumphant, you want to feel happy about it. When they're at a loss in their life and they're struggling, they want, you want to feel for that character, like, oh man, you can go, you can do it. But this character, if she's getting pummeled in the face and getting her head cracked and her bones crushed, you're not going to care because you have no emotional attachment to her. You're going to be like, okay. You're just going to be reading it and be like, whatever. Because there's no emotional attachment. Because they're not trying to make an emotional attachment. They're going to be like, oh, well, the representation. See, their skin color is just like yours. It's just like yours. And they think that's all the attachment you need to feel for this character. But again, you could have a villain just grabbing her by the skull and slamming her face into a wall, and you're just gonna be like, huh, I wonder how much harder he can slam it. Well, let's see if it's on the next page. Oh, yeah, nice. Oh man, there's some teeth there. Oh my god. You're not gonna feel any emotional attachment. When Peter Parker, when regardless of what incarnation of Peter it was, like the old Peter Parker or even the Sam Raimi Peter Parker, when he was successful, you were glad. When he was crying one of the 50 times that he cried, you felt something. Tobey Maguire was Peter Parker. He was the perfect cast for Peter Parker. Tom Holland's really good with Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield, same thing. So when they're portraying Peter, when they're having that tough battle, whether it will be physically with a foe or within themselves, you want them to succeed. When they succeed, you feel something of joy, like, oh, that's great. You don't want the bad guy to win, but you kind of don't want them to lose, because all the bad guys seem to be just like tragic, fallen kind of characters, so you don't want them outright killed. But I mean, that's another thing. The villains, you don't want them killed. You had Norman Osborn, who becomes a Green Goblin. You had Doc Ock. You had Sandman and Venom in the Sam Raimi ones, and all of them, they weren't flat out evil to begin with. They were all kind of fallen characters from, fallen of circumstances, and you didn't want to see them die. But that's the power of the character. That's what we should be feeling, to the point where you care so much about the villain, you're like, oh god, please don't kill him, please don't kill him. But we're not going to feel that with this character. Again, their head, they could just pull what Peter did to Sandman and just take his head and just grind it on a freaking moving train, and you could see the flesh and everything get peeled off her face, and you're not going to care because you have no emotional attachment to her, because they weren't written with emotional attachment, some kind of, to get you emotionally invested in them. Because comic books and shows, they just don't care about that now. They don't want you to get attached to the character. They just want the character there for representation, so they can say, hey, there's a character that looks just like you. And that's not what a character should be. If you're buying this comic and they're the character, the main character, shouldn't you be invested in them? Shouldn't you be wanting to see them triumphant, to see them go through all these perils and downfalls, but then bring themselves up? When they're going through a hard time, you're going to feel bad for them. When you have a main character, that's the point. But if it's going to be a terrible written character that's all cookie cutter, and it's going to be no personality at all. What's the point of buying it? You're not going to, you're going to probably get to like, oh, well, I saw that comment. So, I mean, these companies really need to rethink what they're doing because what they're doing is not making money. And the whole point of this is to make money. And they're just like, it's like they're allergic to making money now. So, Marvel, seriously, are you guys allergic to making money? Because it sure as hell seems so. It sure as hell seems so. Between this and the Spider Girl, they, them, or whatever, swinging through the air with her freaking legs dangling all over because she can't use them. What? What are you doing? What are you doing? But what do I know? What do any of us know? We're just every phobianism, and yet we like stuff like, the Black Panther movies and the Creed movies, great. But no, you call out badly written characters and suddenly you're phobianism. What do we know? Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.